Good morning, everybody. Kind of a weird open we have here because we had the CPI data come out, and normally the CPI data creates single prints. It's normally a pretty big move, but it seems like a lot of the big traders got their trades in yesterday, so we don't really have a big move today from that CPI. It did come out damn near exactly as expected, so that does help. 0.3 as expected, 0.2 a little bit lower, and then 2.4 a little bit lower, but almost exactly as expected. But yeah, so far the move has been extremely shallow. It had a little spike up, and then you kind of hit that value low or the old value level, and then you came back down. So nothing crazy so far. We did leave open all those single prints above from yesterday. So if we can stay above, let's go ahead and get rid of this old value level and we'll grab that new one. If we can stay above that 42 area, then we can look for that, are those single prints to be filled in. And those go back to, let's see here, 923 and 960. So what do we have here? We have the POC as a target, and let's go ahead and lower that to our 23 single print zone, and then downward targets can stay the same, so 806 and 751. Right now we are in a D-shaped micro pullback, which is on the downside this time. The last few micro pullbacks we saw were on the upside. This is happening after a lowercase b. So if we hold above the value low, we're going to look for those single prints. So if the value low is reclaimed and held, we will look for the single prints from yesterday. Holding below the value low, we'll look for lower tail extensions. I'll say watch for rotations as long as we hold inside the current bell curve, the current D-shaped profile. You can treat today as a D-shaped profile, but it also has that lowercase b from yesterday, so a slight bearish bias. But obviously that bearish bias is a little bit hard because you have all those single prints above that do want to be filled in. All right, let's say holding above 22, we're looking for 586, which is around, I think I did what I did last time. Again, I keep doing that. I keep putting the bearish levels on the upper side. Sorry about that. So the POC is 886. And then the single prints go up to, let's say, 175. Holding below 722, we're going to go down to 586. And then what's below that? We have really nothing for quite a while. We'll say 24, 190. Actually, let's take a tail extension. So that would be about... That would be about... We'll say 500 to keep it clean there. All right, there is the trade plan for you guys. If we see a lot of buy pressure out of the gate here, you're probably looking for those single prints from yesterday. Normally, if they're not filled in the same day, they are filled in or tested the following day. You do have a little bit of a 5-minute bulldog here, possibly holding above that VWAP. You have the double bottom here, pops up, puts in that little bull flag. You would have to stay above VWAP here. So VWAP is 846. You're still kind of just rotating that D-shaped profile. Look at the liquidity, very bad. Seeing level 2 orders pretty much the entire tape here. Good morning, everybody. Wanatachi, AT, Scott, JC, Jose. Good morning, Ram, Ordinary, Tamer, Darius, Banana. Coattail, Igor, Lubomir, Larry, Julio. Good morning, Lulu. Ish, Jack, Leo. Good morning, Ryan, Titus, Brent, Greg, Roma, eBay. Good morning, Trevor. Good morning, Ollie. Good morning, Ike. Good morning, Bella. Morris, Mr. Crab. Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. A reminder, guys, Monday is a holiday, so this is a long weekend. I will not be streaming on Monday. I'll be back on Tuesday. A lot of bearish block trades coming in here on NQ. We don't have anything else on the calendar for today. The CPI was the only thing there. So checking back in on the daily time frame that we've been talking about this week. I've been talking about how NASDAQ was kind of in that threatening position that you could be putting in a lower high. So this bounce here could be putting in that lower high, which it did. it put it in pretty low, so that's a pretty bearish high there. You had our prior highs here, you had the sweeping high here, and then you had the lower high there. So back testing this range, didn't like that. Trail, lower high, doesn't look too good there. It wasn't as bad on NASDAQ, or sorry, on ES. It was more of like an equal high, but still kind of a lower high. You still kind of have that rollover here. More so just respecting that range. But yeah, the daily's looking pretty weak. Back to the range lows, possibly even breaking the range lows. If it continues to hold below like 800, not looking too good. Might be going for that value from back in November. But yeah, daily time frame not looking great. Kind of showing us the lower highs. 30-minute trail has been bearish since yesterday, and we are still failing it at this moment. Lots of bearish block trades coming in here. If we do not go to test or fill in those single prints today, that tells you that that day is extremely bearish. And it's being completely protected. Sorry, let me pin the trade plan for you guys. There you go. Good morning, Future. Good morning, Henry. Good morning, Space. DK. Happy Friday, everybody. Is there a gap below? Not on anything nearby. At least on ES. Yeah, Rivian had earnings yesterday. So any of you guys that are still playing that long-term play that we talked about many months ago, they're looking pretty good. They were looking pretty bad for the past couple of weeks after hitting our short-term target damn near perfectly. Our short-term target was from 22 to like 23.40. That was that gap fill. So it hit that gap at 22, went up to like 22.75. And then it nuked down into earnings. But they had really good earnings. They had good earnings, and their expected deliveries for this year went up. It still looks okay for long term. The long term play basically relies on their new, what are they calling it? Like the R2 or something like that. their new vehicle needs to have pretty good deliveries in the next quarter or two. Long-term targets on that would be like somewhere around 30, 35, and then possibly um, really pushing it, but back to IPO would be like 100. Which I would normally say is not going to happen, but we've seen plenty of those companies do that. Look at how much selling is coming in. Large tape, extremely red. Level 2 orders coming in, just taking all the liquidity that's being offered. If we start to lose this D-shaped profile here, look for that lower level around 586, possibly that 500 tail extension as well. Not looking too good. Just goes back to what we kept saying since the start of the week. This is a problem. When you have these overlapping P shapes, or not overlapping, but consecutive. When you have the consecutive P shapes leaving open those very weak, untested tails. We're retesting damn near the entire tail now. We have a little bit left on the low. Good morning, Tom. Good morning, Faraj, Roger, Fable. Not a good sign when it immediately is losing the micro pullback. That range is not holding during the morning here. Very aggressive, well below the 24 EMA. Could even say it's kind of extended it so far below it. We are starting to get a bit extended on the 1 minute. It's very aggressive here. Trying to put in a blue pivot because it is so extended. Okay, there's the bounce back. You're not as extended anymore. Doesn't look like it, but that's a 10-point bounce there. Come on, Chuck. Here's that ADMA pullback. It wants to stay around that level. Like I said, if you're super far away from it, you are a bit extended. Very strong bounce off that blue pivot. Now nearly 20 points. It's actually insane how quickly that is moving. $20-point move in less than 2 minutes. You definitely want to be trading micros for the most part. Most accounts could not handle this type of movement on the large contracts, unless you're trading the large accounts like the 300Ks. Bouncing back into VWAP here. Keep an eye on VWAP. Possible bear flag. This delta is very strong, so they could ignore it. That was a beautiful bounce back because it was quite extended. Morning, Joan. A lot of buyers coming in on the tape now. Not too many large buyers. Tape is still pretty bearish on the large tape. A lot of delta coming in, ignoring VWAP so far. This is the type of action you would have expected on the actual CPI, getting very volatile. We didn't really see it today. This was the CPI candle here, basically no reaction. So now we're kind of getting a delayed reaction. Was a really strong bounce off that 1 minute pivot. It started showing damn near at the bottom, like right when it turned into 810, 809, and then it closed at 816, and then you're up here at 63. That's just insane. You bounced like, what, 50 points? 50 points that quickly? You'd be lucky to get 50 points in a day on ES a couple of years ago. There is a lot of large action going on today, like the block trades and whatnot, so be very careful. They are pushing this around very easily. An extremely dangerous environment to trade in when you have those large orders coming in, and you also have a very low liquidity. Good morning, Vivian. Maverick Aggro, Mario. Yeah, the point of origins and like the profile are a great example of how I read when it's like super choppy like this. It just goes back to what I always say about the, let me pull it up here. It goes back to what I always say about the micro pullbacks. This day gets a lot easier to read when you're only paying attention around the value high and the value low, And then in this case, you have another extreme level being tested. The extreme is the overnight low. And then if you want to go a step further, you have another extreme being tested, which is that prior value going back to Thursday. So as long as you're just paying attention on the extreme levels, it's really not that bad. But if you're paying attention inside of it, it's pretty bad. Like if you look at where most of the violent price action is happening, it's inside of the profile. But around the extremes, the value high, the value low, the overnight high, the overnight low, prior value, etc., it's not as bad. You shouldn't be trading inside of a D-shaped profile anyway. So that value or that explosiveness shouldn't be a major problem. Right now we are failing to rotate. We finished a lower rotation, tested that overnight low, upper rotation, back into a lower rotation, did not finish it, and now we're bouncing. So this is a bit more bullish. Let me see. It's kind of hard to see on a 30-minute. It's not loading my profile for some reason. There we go. Actually, no, we did finish that rotation. So that value area goes down to 36. So we did finish the lower rotation. So now it's trying to finish the upper rotation going back into 58. All right, dude, I'm just going to permaban you. I don't know why you have been hate watching for like over a year. You're just becoming a weirdo, man. There's your permaban you've been asking for a long time. I'm guessing you're losing money and you're very emotional. But you can be emotional somewhere else, bud. He's upset because I banned him, I think, yesterday. Because once again, he was being passive aggressive. He's one of those people that I have a couple of chatters like this that I'm keeping my eye on. That they're just passive aggressive. I don't really know how else to explain it. They try to pretend like they're not hate watching, and they try to pretend like they're not saying anything bad, but they're very clearly being passive aggressive because they don't have the balls to actually say what they want to say. But yeah, like I said, there's the permaban you've been asking for like a year. Really strange. Really, well, you might need therapy. If you're hate watching somebody for that long, you probably should see a therapist. You guys wonder why I don't like talking about personal stuff on the internet, because there's a bunch of weirdos like that on the internet. Hey, good morning, Ryder. Good morning, Sam. Good to see you. Do I ever use speed of the tape? There actually is speed of the tape on here. It's just really hard to see. So you see how it highlights yellow right here? That is the speed of the tape. So if it's coming in really fast, that yellow will get very bright. But that's the only extent that I use it. I love this channel. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Dude's just a weirdo. He like changed his name, but he didn't change his YouTube picture, so he thought he was like being sneaky, but it's quite literally my job to recognize patterns. So I very easily could tell it was him. Hey man, have a good weekend. We'll see you on Tuesday. Remember, Monday's a holiday, so I won't be streaming on Monday. We are back into an upper rotation here, so just pushing up into the value high. What did he say? It wasn't really that bad. He was saying that when I was talking about the D-shaped profile, when I was telling you guys the same thing I say literally every single time, trading around the extremes like the value low, value high, overnight low, overnight high. He said like that means nothing. He basically said I don't know what I'm talking about. Over the last like year plus, he's always had passive aggressive comments about like basically just saying I don't know what I'm talking about. But if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, why are you hate watching me for a year? Like I said, he needs therapy. I'm not qualified to help him with his problems. And he still shows up here. That's my point, exactly. Keep it on that value high rotation going up to 856. Oh, believe me, I do not care. I've been dealing with people like that for many years. I've been streaming since 2018, damn near 10 years. I've had plenty of weirdos come in here. It does not keep me up at night. I only made a big point about him because, like I say, he's been doing it for so long. I've given him so many passes. I try to give you guys a couple of passes. I know trading is very emotional. I know sometimes we lose money, we get emotional, we make some stupid comments. I don't just permaban people right away. I usually give you like a 30-minute timeout, and I give you like a 24-hour timeout. Take a break, walk away from the computer, come back. It's not a big deal. I'll let you guys slide a little bit. But if I notice it's a character thing, like there's something wrong with you and you're just being a dick, you're just gonna get permabanned. Another t-shirt, I'm not qualified to help you with your problems. Yeah, exactly. Are you asking me what the POC is like logically or like what it is right this moment? Yesterday you called the drop in a video before the stream, and today you followed your trading plan. You would have made 40 points. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, I got nothing to prove nowadays, man. People see what they want to see. Come on, Olive. Oh, I see. You're asking what it is literally right now. The POC is 54. 854. This is still extremely common in a micro pullback. The rotations are still happening as long as we're not building a ton of value below 33 or above 55. So funny enough, for how violent today is, it's only about a 20-point value range, which is not crazy. But as long as we're in that range, just be careful. It's pretty choppy. If you guys watched my recap video, this is just exactly what we talked about. We talked about this lower tail being retested here. If you look at this line right here, that's the price line. So we've already retested about half the tail. So tail goes down to about 752. This is that rollover top that we were talking about. Failed to find value, lower high. Yeah, Crab, so to get the 30-day trial, you have to send me an email and let me know what you registered with, whatever email it was. You don't get it by default. You just sign up with that link, so then it registers you, and then you tell me what you registered with, and I send it to their team. It's a special student trial you get for being like a member of the stream or member of the Discord. So they have to connect you to like my account. Yeah, I sent you the email in chat. Just let me know the email that you signed up with. No, you're still taking the previous day's levels. The problem with taking the previous day's levels at this very moment is they are extremely far away. So we have the value low right here, but the POC and the value high are very far. So we are looking at them, but they're not doing anything for us right now. So we have to pay attention to today until it gets back to those levels. It's not exactly useless. It's still a strong level on the higher time frames. But because the levels are overlapping so much, you can look at today's value low first. It's kind of more important. Yeah, it's basically what I've been talking about the last couple of days with a lower high. So the higher time frames are putting in a lower high and kind of losing the daily range. I think the only reason we're not just like dropping like a rock is because of those single prints that are kind of acting like a magnet. They're trying to pull us up. Good morning, Michael. Looks like there's a wall at 52. Liquidity got a little bit better there. Still just trading inside this same micro pullback range. You can see all the overlapping wicks here. Value high being aggressively protected. Notice how there's no node right here. See how it falls off very quickly? If it starts building a node up here, basically above like 62, that's when you start potentially pushing into that POC around like 86. But right now we are obviously still just protecting it and rotating. So no change there. We are extremely far from the weekly VWAP, so we're completely nuking the week here. My weekly VWAP was around like 940, 100 points away. It's a very strong weekly node at 850 and then 880. All right, sorry, it took me a little bit, but I was trying to make a point here. So the point I was trying to make is if you ignore the price action inside of the value area, where it's very choppy, it's kind of in that do not care zone, it's not as bad as it looks, right? Like it's not as choppy, as volatile as it looks. Giving you very obvious sweeps in the value high. They're protecting that very cleanly. This was an extremely aggressive move down, but that came down into the overnight low. Swept the overnight low as well. As long as you were watching the overnight low, which was around, where was that? 820. And then we had that prior value at 806. So we could say, like, okay, there's a level at 820. That's the overnight low. There's a level at 806. That's the prior value. Doesn't look as bad, right? Now, obviously, everything before like these wicks right here is pre-market. So if you also cut out the pre-market, oh, that didn't work. What did I do? Okay, there you go. It's a very convoluted way to explain what I was trying to explain, but you can see what I mean. Value high being protected, value low not so much, but the overnight low and the prior value are being protected. If you train your brain to only pay attention around stuff like this and around stuff like this, because that's the value low, right? Overnight low, prior value level. So if we had a prior value level, let's just make one up. Let's just say right here, we would also be paying attention right here as well. We don't give a shit about anything in between. We care about when it's trading around these major levels, these extremes. Then if you look on the inside where you really shouldn't be paying attention, you get shit like this, where it looks really choppy. Yeah, so that's basically how you should be looking at the micro pullbacks. Just train your brain to pay attention on the major levels, the extremes, the prior value, all that stuff. But you're not paying attention so much on this inside here. Because if you're trading the rotations, yes, obviously you're paying attention to your trade. You're looking for like your halfway target around the POC. You're looking for your target on the other side of the value area, but you're not looking for like trades on the inside, right? You're just looking to exit your trade, like places where it's kind of stalling out or something like that. Big problem that people have is they're just taking trades where they shouldn't be. They're paying attention where they shouldn't be. The single prints, yeah, I'll show you guys if you guys weren't trading yesterday. There's a lot of single prints going back to the upside here. This is basically one single print zone. The only reason there's a stop in between is because that's where the candle closed. But it was basically one smooth motion down. So it goes from around 900 all the way up to 960. So 60 points of single prints to the upside. No, Joe, I don't think that's something that Dalton talks about. Not that I remember. That's just something that I talk about. He probably talks about like trading the value levels, like paying attention around the value levels. I don't remember a chapter specifically though. You look for entries on the 1 minute? Yeah, you do, but not like by itself, right? The 1 minute's kind of showing you exactly what's happening on the levels. No, I didn't say I don't trade D-shape profiles. I don't trade around the POC and like inside the chop, like I was saying earlier. I talk about trading D-shape profiles, I believe, in the new series with the rotations and whatnot. This is getting a little bit top heavy here. If they can hold above this value high above 60, they might try to extend that upper tail. There's a lot of delta coming in. Yeah, ES is extremely fast today. Here's a good example of whoever just asked about the 1 minute chart. So now that we're getting into that zone where we're turning our brain on and we're paying attention and we're looking for what's going on around the level, that's when you're looking at the 1 minute. You're like, okay, is there actually any sell pressure? Are there like sweeps? Are they like what patterns are going on the 1 minute as we are testing these extreme levels that we're paying attention to? That's what those lower time frames are used for, or they should be used for. Hey, Titus, have a good weekend, man. I'll see you on Tuesday. A little bit of a node building up at 78 here, so far being protected by the sellers. You're getting pretty close to yesterday's POC, around 87 and 90. Still not a lot of sell pressure on the 1 minute. You're still protecting that ADMA. You're protecting the lows. It's damn near one time framing on the 1 minute, breaking those 1 minute highs. 5 minute lows starting to be protected as well. You're starting a little bit of a trend breakout here, breaking out of that micro pullback. Supreme Court said they will be talking about tariffs on the 20th. What day is that? I think that's next Friday. Yeah, next Friday. Oh, today's Friday the 13th. I didn't see that. That's why today's so bad. That node is still being protected. Strong node at 78. Okay, now you're getting impulsive sell pressure here on the 1 minute, finally losing the lows and losing that ADMA. Is it going to stay back below that value high? A pretty nasty 30-minute candle. It's brand new, 20 minutes left. But so far looks pretty bad. And here's that other extreme that we were talking about. There's the overnight high and POC node. Didn't quite get to the POC node, but if you see the node as a whole, you definitely hit it. That's kind of where this node is building up right there at 78. Need to pay close attention to the reaction on the value high here, because this could be seen as like a rebound where it's like pulling back into the value high, and then they use it as a massive support to push the upper tail. If they don't have a support there, then it goes back into rotation, back down to 36. Oh yeah, liquidity's terrible. We're seeing blue orders basically non-stop the last couple of days. Now, I will say a lot of these orders are pretty large. Like 100 contracts, 50 contracts, 50 contracts. Those are not too bad. Like when you see very large orders getting a level 2, that's not a big deal. But it is a big deal when they're like 25 contracts. So you are seeing it stall a little bit on the value high, but you're not seeing that buy pressure. You can see it keeps getting slapped down by that ADMA. So it is being protected aggressively by the sellers. So you're not seeing that rebound buy pressure. With a rebound buy pressure, it's almost immediate. Like you would come back down, you would hit it, and you would start wicking off of it. Not seeing that. It highlights them blue if they're trading larger than this number over here. So this is the level 1. As you can see, it's literally not showing you the level 2. It's only showing you the first order. So if this is higher than this, you'll get a level 2 order because it's hitting the level 2. Which right now the liquidity on the level 1 is very bad. It's like 10 contracts, 20 contracts. So pretty much everything that's hitting this tape is going to break that. Because this tape is filtered by 25. So if it's less than 25 on the level 1, you're probably going to get blue orders here. Here's VWAP, by the way. So going back into a lower rotation, looking for that value low because you did not rebound off of that value high. Keep an eye on VWAP and the POC. It could stall out. Okay, and this goes back to what I was saying earlier. So imagine if we're looking at the 1 minute here and the profile here. Imagine if you're just now like, oh, okay, there's a lot of sell pressure here. Let me go ahead and take a trade here. You're just so late, you know what I mean? Like, look at this entire move. And then what happens if it bounces off the POC and VWAP and it fails to rotate? Then it just shoots right back up to here. And you just sold, I don't know, 20 points late, 30 points late. And then now you're obviously losing that trade. You got to be very careful trading inside the value range like that. But if you're watching extremes and you're ignoring everything else, you would have been looking for a sell here. It obviously was not selling there. It blew right through that level. And then wherever the overnight high was, I can't remember exactly where. Where was that? It was 70, 69, somewhere around there. So like right here. So basically the same level, kind of right there. And then you had the prior levels. So prior levels would have been the POC here. I talk about it a lot in, I think one of the first videos in that series, the Apex series. I think it's the first or second video. Talking about like the do not care zones and like when to pay attention. Trading is extremely exhausting if you are like full focused paying attention on every single move. Like every single 1 minute candle. If you guys are in the Discord in the afternoon, you understand this because I don't talk that much in the afternoon. In the afternoon, I'm only speaking up, I'm only saying things when something is happening. If it's hitting the value high, value low, rotation's happening, whatever. Like it's trading a major level. That's when I'm speaking up and saying something. And that's kind of my point. Especially in the afternoon when it's like very slow and you don't really know what's going on. You just have to pay attention to the major levels and kind of turn your brain off a little bit in between. Renko's even worse. Yeah, so Renko is kind of doing that in the sense where it won't even make the bars if nothing's happening, right? But yeah, if you're feeling like you're like mentally exhausted just after every trading day, it's probably because you're just paying attention too much. You're like actively paying attention to like every single candle. And what I just said is literally happening. So if you sold super late down here on VWAP, this is like a 10-point bounce. So you're probably getting stopped out from that. Yeah, I'm showing this profile right now instead of the delta because the delta is not as helpful on days like this where it's just kind of chopping back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This chart is helping me prove a point about paying attention on the major levels. So right now we are in a failure to rotate because it wanted to rotate back down to the value low, but obviously it's bouncing off VWAP. So first thing to look for in a failure to rotate, obviously you're going back to the prior value level, so that would be the value high here. Then is the failure to rotate actually going to break value? So like, are we going to continue to build value above that value high and then go higher? What we've been seeing the last couple of days, especially like yesterday, you had a bunch of, or it might have been the day before yesterday, you had a bunch of half rotations where you kept getting stuck between like the POC and VWAP and then one side of the value area. So instead of doing a full rotation, it just kept going back and forth on the half rotation. So we'll see if it's going to be a half rotation or are you going to break value right here. If it does continue to go up, watch that node at 79. They built that node up earlier pretty quickly. Hey, Roger, have a good weekend, man. We'll see you on Tuesday. So ever since you bounced off VWAP, you are protecting that ADMA. This trend is pretty stable. Here's that node that I was talking about at 79. So keep an eye on this node. We'll see if they just keep rotating it or they're going to actually start using it as support. It also lines up right with that POC of yesterday. So it's a bit of a hard push to get to this POC. The node starts around 79, basically exactly where that node is. And then it ends at like, say 95-ish. Hey, Olive, have a good weekend, man. Still getting those block trades around 500 contracts, mostly all sells. Putting in a lower high here, protecting that 75 node. Still protecting that value high, not sweeping it or anything just yet. Hey, have a good weekend, Scott. Still protecting the EMAs here, so you are still slightly trending out of balance. Starting to lose these EMAs here. Still showing those tweezer tops. A lot of overlapping sell pressure. Okay, let's see if it's going to get stuck in a half rotation like it has a couple times this week. If it bounces off VWAP again, just keep an eye on that value high. The market getting stuck in half rotations is the reason why you want to take partial profit usually when you're trading the rotations, because you don't know if it's going to stop at VWAP. Still pretty sloppy. One thing you're keeping an eye on here is, let me see, easiest way to explain this. You can see the 5-minute highs are putting in these higher lows. You still have lower highs on the 5-minute though. So you're kind of in a triangle here. It should decide pretty soon which direction this trend is going to break. You can see this last little pullback here. They are trying to protect that value high. They're trying to stay out of balance. Little bit top heavy on this last candle. You can see a lot of that value on the high. They're getting a little bit top heavy on this candle as well. So if they protect this upper node, which is basically above like 70, you're breaking out of that balance. You can see the buyers are pretty damn aggressive. They bought VWAP very aggressively, back to VWAP, bought it aggressively again. Was that a bull flag in the VWAP? Not really. It kind of was. I can see what you're looking at. But I wouldn't really say it's a bull flag because the retrace is the entire move. So with a bull flag, you want the retrace to only be a part of the move, like a maybe 20%, 30%, 40%, a small pullback, right? You don't want it to be the entire move. If you consider the bottom, like where the impulse is, like this is the entire impulse, and then like this is the pullback, then yes, you could say that's a bull flag in the VWAP. But if you're considering it this, that's not really a bull flag because you're retracing the entire move. And would I really call this an impulse? Probably not, because it's so choppy. It's like back and forth, back and forth. So you could have traded that like a standard VWAP trade. Like if you wanted to buy VWAP and treat it the same way, you could do that. But it was more so a failure to rotate than a bull flag. So you would have been buying VWAP because you saw the failure to rotate. So then you're targeting the value high, not really from a bull flag. But all right, guys, we are coming to that time. Let me check the likes here. Are we doing a giveaway today? We're at 81 likes. If you guys could get that above 100, we'll do an Apex account giveaway. If you guys are heading out, remember Monday is a holiday, so I will not be streaming Monday. The markets will be closed for the most part. I will be streaming back again on Tuesday, same time as always. If you guys are in Discord, I will be streaming in Discord for the rest of the day. If you guys enjoy the content, hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. If you guys are new to my channel, be sure to check out that Becoming an Apex Trader series. If you have any questions about really anything that I talk about on the live stream, I probably answer it in that series. It's a 5-part series that has a couple of additional Q&A videos as well. But realistically, it's just the 5 major parts. So be sure to check that out. But all right, guys, we did get above 100. I'll do a quick giveaway here, and then we will call it a stream. Give me 1 second. All right, let's see here. All right, guys, pick a number between 1 and 50. Just pick one number. This is going to be for a promo code that will give you a free account on Apex for 30 days. And then after that, it will start charging you. So make sure to go back to the brew code if you do not pass it in 30 days. Don't worry about ties. I will do a tiebreaker. By the way, press that live button. Make sure you do not have a delay. Make sure your stream is up to date. And make sure you have your email ready. If you guys are heading out, enjoy your long weekend. I'll see you guys back on Tuesday. Appreciate you guys being here. All right, Patriot, you know the rules, man. I'm going to ban you for 24 hours. And normally I ban you guys for 24 hours so you can't participate in the next giveaway. So, Patriot, you will be disqualified from the next giveaway, even though it's a Friday, because there's no giveaway tomorrow. Just don't pick more than one number, guys. It's that simple. And just like that, my odds went up. Yeah, you're not lying. You are not lying. Keep an eye on that node here, trying to hold above that 75 node. Starting to get into a bit of a trend here. 5-minute lows being protected. EMAs are being protected. I'll give you guys another minute or so, probably 30 seconds. Pick a number between 1 and 50, just pick one number. Make sure you press that live button, be up to date on the stream. All right, getting ready to roll. The last name I see is Azul for the first roll. Okay, then there you go, Azul. The last name I see is Azul, and Azul put 20. Those are some damn good odds. You snuck your answer in right at the end. Is there anybody else with 20? Let me know. I will double check your chat history. I was pretty damn lucky, Azul. Go buy a lottery ticket. Yeah, that was pretty good. Is there anybody else that picked 20? I don't see anybody, but if you did, let me know. I'll check your chat history. All right, Azul, I think it's just you. Let me get my giveaway email ready for you. There you go, Azul. Send me a email with your YouTube name, and I'll send you a random number to type in chat. If you guys are heading out, enjoy your long weekend. I will not be streaming on Monday due to the holiday. I will see you guys on Tuesday. How long is the code valid? I'm not sure. They usually expire pretty quickly, so you pretty much want to use it right away. I'd say probably like within the month I would use it. I wouldn't hold on to it for too long. Let me know when you send the email. I'll take a look. All right, I see. I sent you a random number. All right, guys, keep an eye on the POC note of yesterday. If it holds above that POC node, you are looking to rotate fully, which is around 923. But more so than that, you're actually looking to fill in these single prints here. So if you see a lot of buy pressure today, just keep an eye on those single prints going back to 923 and realistically 960. It's pretty much one single print zone. I see you, Azul. So the next thing you'll see is the promo code. But all right, guys, I'm going to head out. I'll see you guys in Discord if you're there. If you're not in Discord, enjoy your weekend. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Peace, everybody.